What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So I have some good news to share with you guys today. There was a new bill that was introduced, and this will help people on Social Security. So Social Security, SSI, SSDI. We're going to talk about it. We're going to look at the details of this new bill, and then I'm going to, at the very end, I'm going to talk about why this was introduced now, because we're in December. Why would they introduce it at the very end of the year? So we're going to talk about that as well. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about this, and this is Ruben Gyo. He is the one who, it was a co-sponsored bill, and we'll take a look at it right now. And this is coming from Ruben Gyo's website, and it says, Graves introduced bipartisan bill to protect seniors from unfair Social Security clawbacks. Okay, so I posted a couple of videos actually, just talking about this clawback, where you have the Social Security Administration years after they find a mistake, they're coming back to these people and sending them letters saying, hey, guess what? You owe us thousands of dollars. It could be $50,000. It could be even more. And so obviously this is a big deal when it comes to people who are receiving Social Security benefits. A lot of these people are on fixed income and they're receiving these benefits, and then they get this letter saying that they owe $50,000 because the Social Security Administration made a mistake. Now, I watched the hearing. I showed you guys parts of the hearing. They just had a hearing about 3 weeks ago where they were talking about this very issue, and they were trying to figure out how to move forward when it comes to correcting this problem. They had the acting commissioner that was talking about how she thinks that they should move forward and what she thinks that they need. And you saw a lot of the lawmakers in this hearing. They were very, very upset about this whole situation. So Ruben Gyo, he has created this bill, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the bill. So I want to read the bill to you first, and then we're going to talk a little bit about why this is being introduced now. Okay, so it reads, Phoenix, Arizona, Representative Ruben Gyo, Arizona 3rd District, and Garrett Graves, Louisiana 6th District, introduced bipartisan legislation to limit the Social Security Administration's overpayment look-back period to 10 years. So this is a big deal. So what they're doing is they're saying that you can't go past 10 years. So if the Social Security Administration is making mistakes and it goes over that 10-year mark, then they can't look back and say, okay, you know what? You owe us for the last 10 years. They can't do that. So they're putting a limitation on the time frame, because right now it's open. Anyone, I mean, the Social Security Administration, it could be 20 years ago, Social Security Administration can look into it and say, you owe us money. And this has happened to individuals. Like, let's say there was a kid that was receiving survivor benefits, and for whatever reason, the calculations were off or what have you. And then when he was an adult, so this was happening when he was 11 years old. When he was an adult, they looked at that and they said, you know what, we made a mistake, and this was over 20 years ago, or actually just shy of 20 years, and you owe us money. And so the reason, I don't know exactly how they caught it, but I don't know if the mom was responsible for it before, but the mom passed away, and so now he was responsible for paying this back. So very, very interesting here. 10 years. I would hope that it would be even less, maybe 5 years. 10 years is good, but I think 5 years obviously would be better, so you can't go over that 5-year mark. This would make the Social Security Administration do their job. It gives them a deadline. We know how when it comes to government, they need deadlines. If they don't have deadlines, they're not going to move. They're just going to kick the can down the road, and then one day they'll figure it out and they'll say, oh, yep, our mistake, but guess what? You owe us this money. So let's go ahead and continue reading. Protecting Arizona's 1.4 million Social Security recipients from the undue burden of having to pay back life-saving funds that may arise from errors on the part of the Social Security Administration. Arizona seniors should not be on the hook for decades-long failures of the Social Security Administration. Representative Gallegos. Okay, so you see this here. This is a press release. I will post a link. I'm not going to read the whole thing, so I will post a link so you guys can go over and take a look at this. But I want to talk about this because it's very interesting that it was introduced now. Okay, let me show you. I'll show you guys the bill. Actually, I have a better version here. So we're looking at the bill here, and this was drafted on December 6th of 2023 at 11:01 a.m. And the press release was just put out on the 19th. So just a couple of days ago. This is when this press release was put out by Ruben Gyo. Okay, so why? Why is he putting it out now? Very interesting, right? One thing, and notice here too, bipartisan. This is a bipartisan bill, okay? Garrett Graves is a Republican. Ruben Gyo is a Democrat. Now, Ruben Gyo, guess what? He is running in Arizona for Kyrsten Sinema's seat. Okay, Kyrsten Sinema is still running, but she's running as an independent. So this is a situation, and this is just my speculation here, but let's just look at some of the headlines here when it comes to Ruben Gyo, because he's doing very well in Arizona right now. So he's a representative. He's in the House of Representatives right now, but he wants to run for Senate, and he wants to run against Kyrsten Sinema. Most Arizona swing voters back Sinema in three-way race per focus group. And now this is a tight race, and you also have Carrie Lake in this race too. Okay, so you have Republican, Independent, and a Democrat running for this seat, and they're all well known. I mean, Carrie Lake is well known for losing, but she's still well known, right? So, and I think she was also in the news industry as well. So she has a name. Kyrsten Sinema obviously has a name, and then you have Ruben Gyo. And this headline says Gyo ahead of Lake Sinema in new poll on Arizona Senate race. Okay, so he's ahead there in that race, and these were a few months back. So that was back in November. Gyo leads early U.S. Senate poll Arizona race. So that's another headline there. Gyo leads Lake Sinema in Arizona Senate race poll. So that was October 10th. So you see, Gyo is doing really well when it comes to this Senate race. And so why would he put this out now? Why would we see a press release? Because this press release, as I stated, December 19th, the House has gone home. So the House is not there. And he puts out this press release. So he's not there. He's not working. Okay. The Senate, they were trying to pull together this immigration bill, but I don't think that that's going to go anywhere. But they were the only ones that were really working. The House was they were gone. They're gone for the year. They're not coming back until next year. And so why is Ruben Gyo putting this out? Well, this is my speculation. This is what I'm thinking. When it comes down to it, he wanted to put this out in 2023. Okay, so he put the press release out in 2023. He's running in a tight race for Senate. And next year, he can reintroduce this bill. And I think he will reintroduce the bill because this bill is going to have to be reintroduced. If you introduce it in the 118th Congress, that's where we are right now, the 118th Congress, then you have to reintroduce it in the 119th Congress, which will be next year. And so I think the reason why he put it out now is so that he can say in his, campaign, he can say, I was for this, I sponsored this bill back in 2023. I'm reintroducing it in 2024. So now it looks like it's for the last 2 years, he's been trying to move this legislation along. Now, do I think that this has legs? Do I think that this legislation has the possibility of getting, of passing the House, passing the Senate, and being signed off by the president? Absolutely. Just listening to the hearing 3 weeks ago, it was very interesting to see that you had both Democrats and Republicans very upset about this whole situation. And they were trying to figure out a way forward and how to address the situation. And this is one way to address it. Obviously, there's some other things that I think need to happen, but this is a good first start. At least wipe it out. So if it's 10 years or more, they're no longer obligated to pay that back, which I think is good. Now, they do need to do some more things, but this is good legislation. Also, as I was saying, bipartisan. This is a bipartisan bill. This looks good for Ruben Gyo because he's running in Arizona in the Senate seat. It's going to be a very close race, no matter how you look at it, because you have an independent, you have a Republican, and you have a Democrat. And we're looking at Arizona, which Arizona could swing Democrat or Republican in the statewide races. We've seen that before. So he needs bipartisan bills. He needs to be able to say that he did something, or he was at least a sponsor of a bill that he was trying to move forward, a bipartisan bill. That's what looks good. And so that is the reason, and like I said, this is my speculation, but that is the reason why I think he is trying to move this forward, or at least he introduced it in December, and now he's going to reintroduce it in the 119th Congress. And let's hope that they can move this forward. Now, this is not the only bill that you're going to see. You're going to see more bills that are going to come out talking about Social Security, maybe, hopefully, Social Security reform, but you're going to hear more things that come out when it comes to Social Security. Why? Because we're in an election season, and that's what politicians do. Now, what we need to do as constituents is we need to hold these politicians accountable in 2024. So when they start bringing these proposals out, we need to remind them, look, you brought this proposal out. A perfect example here, people that are in Arizona right now. Ruben Gyo, he introduced it in the 118th Congress. If he doesn't introduce it right away in the 119th Congress, constituents in Arizona should be calling on him and saying, hey, what happened to that Social Security bill that you sponsored? And pressure him into, okay, you know what, I need it. I'm saying if he doesn't reintroduce it, I think he will, but if he doesn't reintroduce it, pressure him into reintroducing it by reminding him, hey, you introduced this in December of 2023 when you knew Congress was pretty much closed and the House was closed, so it wasn't going to move anywhere in the House, and it needs to pass the House, the Senate, and be signed off by the president. So why would you introduce it in December and then not reintroduce it in 2024? And so that's where we come in. We need to reach out to these politicians and make sure we hold them accountable for these bills that they're putting forward. Because if they're going to put a bill forward, they should at least be a cheerleader for that bill and try to get that bill passed in the House and passed in the Senate. And so I just wanted to bring this to your attention. I think this is a good bill. I think it has a good potential for passing. I know there are people out there, there's at least 1 million people that received letters in 2023 saying that they owed money, and some of those people would meet this, the 10-year mark. So they could be in a situation where it will wipe out that debt that they have. And so I want to know what you guys think about all this. So let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.